Business statement, Her Honor the Vice President.
Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that the House Business Committee met on Thursday, 21st September 2023, to determine and schedule business of the House for the period 26th to 29th September 2023. In this regard, the committee resolved to lay before the House the following business for consideration. A, announcements. The Honorable Speaker may make announcements to the House on any day when it is necessary to do so. B, rulings. The Honorable Speaker may render rulings if there will be any. C, ministerial statements. Honorable ministers may make ministerial statements if there will be any. Private members' motions. D. The following private members' motion will be presented. The Honorable Member, Mr. Gordon Mwila, MP, will present a motion to introduce legislation providing for the welfare of former freedom fighters in the country. This will be on 27th September 2023. E, reports of parliamentary delegations. Reports of parliamentary delegation to international conference will be considered if there will be any. F, questions. Honorable ministers will respond to 15 questions for oral answer as set out hereunder. The details of the questions are contained in the notice of questions circulated to all the honorable members. G, motion of thanks. The motion of thanks to the President's address will be concluded on Thursday, 28 September 2028. H, motion to suspend standing orders. Her Honor the Vice President will on Thursday, 28 September 2023, move the motion to suspend relevant standing orders to enable the House to sit from 14:15 hours until business is concluded on Friday, 29 September 2023. Budget speech. The Minister of Finance and National Planning is expected to present to the House the 2024 national budget on Friday, 29 September 2023, starting at 14:15 hours. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the House Business Committee, and in accordance with Standing Order 189, Part 5 of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2021, I have the pleasure to present the business for next week to this august House. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Her Honor, the Vice President's question time. The Honorable Member for Mukush South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President. Last year, there was no relief distribution in all the areas that are usually been supplied with relief food. For example, Shangombo, Nawarachiombo, Luano Valley. What is the government position on the distribution of relief food in the affected areas where there have been acute hunger? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Mukushi South. except the statement is not really factual. I think the honorable member needs to ask some of the members of parliament, including himself, in Ilwano. You can't say there was nothing. Nabwalia, the member is there. To say there was nothing, I think, is a misleading statement. Madam, we did attend to everyone that came out that there was need for relief. There was a lot of relief. I think one good example would be Chama North. Indeed, the entire Chama. Nabwalia, I think he would acknowledge. I think that we did respond, and we will continue to respond. And maybe I can use this opportunity, Madam, to ask the members of parliament that it is important for all of us to work together as Zambians from the point of patriotism and from the members from being leaders in our constituencies. Because, Madam, what is happening right now here, people will be talking FISIP. They have been talking FISIP. And we have leaders here for those communities. And the same areas where FISIP will go, next year, by June, they'll start looking for relief. Is that really sustainable? So I am calling upon members here to think together. Government, you are part of government. What would be a solution in your area? For example, in Chama, what are you looking for if you are going to want FISIP and relief? I think it is important for us to sit and say, what is a permanent, at least humanly permanent? I know there are things beyond human, but humanly permanent that we can do for the people. Is it FISIP? Don't ask for FISIP and then come for relief. It is really getting the entire budget into our stomachs. And yet we have so many other things that we need to do. And when FISIP is given, Madam, I think it is important that as members of parliament, we help our people to ensure that what they grow, the first, government always thinks about food security at national level. But as members of parliament, I think it is important to help our people to ensure there is food security at household level. If somebody has FISIP, even with a crop failure, it would be good to keep the little for the household security rather than sell and then call for relief. Zambians, we are proud people. We don't like begging. Can we ensure this culture is cultivated in our communities? Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. The Honorable Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, when government reached an agreement on debt restructuring and when the President was coming back, there was a lot of celebration. We saw busloads of head teachers and other civil servants being taken to the airport to welcome the President. This time around, the expectations were very high. We expected even more busloads of teachers and civil servants at the station when the President was coming from China. The silence, the quietness is too loud. Is it an indication that the trip to China was not fruitful? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
I also agree. I take a question here when people have nothing else to say. Our president has made several trips. We regarded the trip that brought in the debt restructuring as exceptional. That was a culmination of the many other trips that he had undertaken. And it called for celebration that the country had reached this level. I believe that if there were no politics outwardly, the honorable leader of opposition would have been there to celebrate with him. Because inside of him, he did celebrate. Because the situation we were in was extremely bad. We needed to reach that level. Even though that is not the ultimate, we are still continuing. But that was the beginning. The flow conditions were met. And now we are looking to the private creditors, if you call them that way. But this was a day to celebrate. How do you compare with China? Why don't you say when he came from US? Why don't you say when he came from France? What makes it different? Honestly, do we just have to say something? Just wait, you debate. Why? China was one of the trips, and he brought many wonderful things. And it is good that a question was asked here. What are the achievements? And we did promise that we'll be briefing this House. A statement will be made. If you need to know, the Minister of Foreign Affairs will come to tell us some of the things, the accomplishments that were done in China. The President moves, travels for a purpose. And the purpose in China, as set out, was achieved. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Zambezi East.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Your Honor, the Vice President, when UPND took over government, a lot of pronouncements were made regarding corrupt practices that happened in the previous regime. And those pronouncements went with a few arrests, which we saw. Matters were tried in court. However, there are questions that Zambians are asking, because out of the myriad of pronouncements that were made, we've seen very little in terms of convictions or anything that to show as in close to convicting those whom we thought were criminals. Now we have seen even the former head of state joining the political ground with the confidence. What is the executive doing to give confidence to the public that for sure those pronouncements about the crimes that were committed were true, and that we will be seeing convictions anytime soon? Your Honor, the Vice President, I thank you.
Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Zambezi East for the question that he has posed. That this government made pronouncements as to the fight against corruption. One, to this honorable member, honorable members, I would say government has not relented on that. Government is working seriously to fight corruption. The President has made it clear, we have made it clear, that we will fight corruption. The past corruption, the present corruption, the future corruption. This is the position of government, Madam Speaker. Now, a number of people have been, indeed, arrested for corruption. After that, honorable member, these are taken to the courts of law. When we take them to the courts of law, separation of powers cause that judiciary takes over. The prosecution of the same. It is our hope that this fight will bear fruit for the Zambian people. those that are in the courts of law, and I would urge that indeed we get a little more publicity on the cases as they are being tried in the courts of law. The former head of state, you said, has joined, has joined the corruption cases? Political arena. Well, all we can say is he's a Zambian. But we need to know what makes it different for the former head of state is that he is a former head of state. A position that is held by one person at one particular time. And as his title is, it means the head of state is still being looked after by the Zambian people. What the Zambian people need to know is, as a nation, as a country, executive and politics, are we working, are we going by the rule of law? Are we allowing things to move by the provision of the law? Is the former president living by the provision of the Act and the Constitution that, guides his life? That is what we should ask. We are aware. If he wants to be in politics, I think nobody can stop him. Nobody can, except we have to know, is he retired? Is he not? Colleagues, this is not an issue to be debated. If he is not retired, we have to hear from him. What I know is the executive has a letter saying that he is retired. And therefore, we want to regard him as a retired politician, a retired former head of state. But if he chooses otherwise, I think it is important that all of us know, so that he's given his space, and the Zambians know that he is a politician, an active politician, as we understand. And therefore, he could be allowed to play. And the Zambians in general will say he is a private individual, like any of us here, who may not be entitled, therefore, to what is owed. I'm just trying to interpret in my simplest way what it is. But if he has gone into politics, it's important to come out because your followers must know who you are. Today, I read in one media somebody declaring he is our party president. Surely, colleagues, do we have to make a man look... I don't know, is Yo-Yo allowed here? I'm just asking. We don't want a man to be seen today this way, tomorrow that way. No, let us state the facts and run together. This is our Zambia. It belongs to the former head and to me and to you and to that one. But you know that you are a member of parliament. You can't be today you are a councillor. Tomorrow you are a member of parliament. Another day, please, nobody wants to make somebody look bad, but be clear, colleagues. Let us run our country the way we ought to. So, if he has joined, we have not received, I haven't been briefed that he is now joined the political arena. And all we hear is in the media. Are we going to follow the media, or we are going to be told that I have come out of retirement? Thank you.
Thank you very much. As I try to balance, I will call somebody from the Independence, the Honorable Member for Nkana.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, the little reports that we have seen indicates that our bread basket, the districts of Lundazi, Lumezi, and the others, which almost feeds the entire country, is dry of maize. What interventions is government working on to ensure that our country does not slip into a crisis in regards to the availability of the staple food mealie meal. I thank you.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member who says Lundazi and Chama. Eastern Province is dry of maize. I think what we should ask colleagues from the East, did Eastern Province grow maize? That's where we should start from. Did they grow maize? If they grew maize, where is the maize? I mean, we have to let us, may I just ask you, my son, don't worry, this is the truth. If I grew maize and then I have no maize, where is my maize? I think we should ask people from the East. What have we done to the maize? Have we smuggled it out? You are leaders. Honorable Member for Lundazi. Yes. Was there any maize grown? Because the care, the worry, the concern should have been raised at the point when maize was not growing or when people didn't cultivate. But FISIP went there and they cultivated. And you come and you say, it's dry. Where is the maize? Smuggling should be stopped. But we also do understand that the maize, maize in the region is required almost everywhere. We are aware that some fields were bought even when maize was still growing. So I think what is important is where is the maize? But for government, first the responsibility goes on us here to be able to talk to our people and say, let us care. You remember what I said? That household food security is critical. And that's why, number one, government gives FISIP to help communities have food. FISIP was given. Maize, we saw it grow, and then it disappeared. We should help our people that first and foremost, before we sell, let us ensure we keep some. I think this could be attributed to smuggling into neighboring countries. I may not have had evidence, but I'm just looking at the scenario. For government, we will not allow anybody to die from hunger. We will come in. No one should die from hunger. And this government will do its uttermost work to ensure that those that have no food are given food. We have a VAC report. The vulnerable assessment is already done. We will soon have concrete results to know which communities are, hungry, and we start responding to that. But we have to address the causes of this lack of maize. That is the only way we will find a solution, a good solution that will tackle issues. So we will be listening, we will be looking, and where there is hunger, we come through. Recently we had, was it Shangombo? Where there was an outcry. Oh, there is hunger. We have already responded, just as we have responded to Nawali, as we have responded to other areas. We have to prove there is no food. And when that happens, we will come through. But colleagues, like I said, madam, let us work together to find lasting solutions to this lack of food. You don't go to have no food in Lundazi. What was so bad in Lundazi for them to have no maize in September, dry? What happened? I would like to have a conversation in my office because I want to know what happened there. If you tell me about Chama, even Chama, we want to know now which areas. Don't come here and pull the entire maize into your constituents for political, for people to love you. You are making them lazy. Let us work together. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Sinazongwe.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Honorable, Honor the Vice President, if you went to a milling company owned by Zambia National Service, right now, you'll find a bag of mealie meal of 25 kg, somewhere around 150 to 160 kwacha. If you went to a private-owned milling company, you'll find the same bag of mealie meal is costing over 200 kwacha. Honor the Vice President. The producers of the same maize that these two entities are Zambians, big commercial or private. Why this variance, big difference? Could it be that you have given Zambia National Service an incentive that you can't extend to private-owned company? Or there is a component of sabotage from these private-owned millers? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Sinazongwe, who compares the price of mealie meal, that of national service, and that from private millers. I think we did in the last meeting, was it a sitting? Whichever. We did mention that colleagues who are millers should be a little kind to the people. And to say the truth, there is no special incentive, maybe just because they are part of government, but there is no special incentive, as far as I know, to the national service. Nothing. No special incentive. So, this, indeed, could be attributed to the profit margin that the millers are making. Yes, we do realize also that after giving the farmer a little more on the price of maize, one would expect that the mealie meal will not remain the same. But this is a big choice that we have to make. Do we neglect the farmer forever, or we give them an incentive for them to produce? Even when we say, why don't we win the people from FISIP? If the price of maize that they grow, if they sell their maize at giveaway, how do they get wind from FISIP? So this government thought for this year, let us increase the price of maize so that the farmer can get a little more. But maybe, I am saying maybe, the colleagues in milling industry are making a little bit more profit than they ought to. But I am informed that they are fully engaged with the Ministry of Agriculture to see how we work together to save our Zambian people. To categorically talk of sabotage, I may not. I just wonder. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Mambilima, we go to the ladies.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving the people of Mambilima an opportunity to ask a question on behalf of the citizens of Zambia. Madam, I would like to find out when the government intends to stop deceiving the people of Zambia, especially on aspects such as the agricultural policy, the rule of law, and on the employment opportunities given to the people of Zambia. Because not everyone is going to be a teacher and a doctor or a nurse. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Anyway, the question, honor the Vice President.
Oh, wow. The question was, when government intends to stop deceiving people? A very unfortunate statement, because this government has never deceived any Zambian. That is a fact. This is not a don't kubeba government. This is not a don't kubeba government. This is an open government. That is why you are able to speak anywhere. And yet, to get on, if you talked of politics, one would say, what is she thinking? But you talk of deceiving people over employment. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Okay. Oh, you... this is the style of speech. I thought by now everybody knows that I can rise and fall, at least a little better than where is Petayuke. Honorable, what are you really talking about? Politics should not go that far. The previous government, to which you belong, madam, to which the honorable member belongs, what jobs did they create? Abracadabra? Where, in which field were the jobs created? When today we have created, whether you like it or not, I can categorically say that if people went to find evidence everywhere, just in government, in the last 2 years, we have over 60,000. Yeah. You can sit, honestly, you can sit and say. So where is the deception? And yet this government has been very categorical that job creation is not a direct government issue. The government must make the environment suitable, conducive for the private sector to thrive and create jobs. And this is what we are talking about. The jobs I've talked about are only in government. Madam Mambilima, is only in government. But look, I will give one industry, one in mining, we may have lost in the time the previous government. Today we have the one which is under First Quantum, what do you call it? First Quantum. Yeah, but the plant. The nickel mine. Have you thought of that as job creation? Are we not creating jobs? It is in the description of jobs, madam. Have we not created jobs in CDF? You don't know that CDF is job creation. Yeah. It shows you don't understand the labor industry. I can tell you that. I am not just saying things for the sake of it. Whether today you go to any developed country, just listen and you can evaluate.
Order, honorable members, can we listen? Can we listen?
When you look at some countries, they will tell you that this month they created so many jobs. This month they lost so many jobs. What does it mean? Have you ever thought of it? It's not about teachers or doctors. It is about jobs that may be temporal. They are also counted. It's jobs in the informal sector that should also be counted. This government is empowering. Empowering is economic issue. Empowering is a job. That's why you go and tell a marketeer. I tell people at the market, do you work? I don't work. I am a marketeer. Do you know that is work? I think The definition of a job is too limited, madam. Broaden it. What do you do? I don't work. So you do nothing. How do you eat? I'm a farmer. Is that not a job? Respect every income generating issue. That is a job. If you call that deception, madam, I don't know which world you belong to. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Kafue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, as still trying to grapple with the issue of former KTZ workers, I just wanted to find out if our government is aware that there are some former Zamtel workers who are still also awaiting to be paid their pension. And if we are aware, are we doing something about it? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honor the Vice President.
Thank you very much. I think I will refer this question, really, I don't think I can answer that I'm aware or government is aware. Maybe the broader government is, but standing here, I am not aware. And therefore, this is an issue that we will discuss, Honorable, with the Ministry of Labor, and then we can move on. Otherwise, standing here, I am not aware that Zamtel workers have not been paid, former Zamtel workers. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chienge.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Thank you. Your Honor, the deaf or people who are living the disability of deaf, they are celebrating their they're celebrating their International Day of Sign Language and Interpretation. And I've not seen much in the media or the government talking about this. So I would like to find out from your government, Your Honor, is there anything that this government is going to do for the people who are living with this disability as they celebrate their International Day? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Chienge for that concern on the people with disability, that includes the deaf. I think it is important to recognize those days, except as I'm here, I haven't, it's something I need to find out, whether under the Ministry of Community there is a program that recognizes them. Otherwise, even this week, Madam, we talked about disability, the issue of the accessibility to buildings. I think it was discussed. This government does not want to leave anybody behind. And when you have an issue of such serious concern, it's also important to engage the minister directly. Because when you come here, I may not have the answer. But when you bring it to the minister in charge, outside here, I think it is important that there is this engagement and realization that maybe we are leaving somebody behind. But because the minister is not here right now, I can't answer where the government, because that's the question, what is government doing right now in the midst of celebration of the sign language? I don't know what they have put in place. But can you please follow it up? It's a good thing to talk about for a member of parliament. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. There's a lot of talking. Please, can we tone down? The honorable member for Vubwi.
Thank you so very much, Madam Speaker, for giving this chance to the good people of Vubwi. I honor the Vice President. I think your government has been making several pronouncements towards completing most of the projects which are at 80% and above. But in Vubwi, we have a boarding school which is under construction. And that is the only facility so far as a boarding school in the constituency. Now, I want to find out, where does government have problems to complete such projects? Because I feel this project is very critical and would help the good people of Vubwi. I submit. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Her Honor the Vice President. Order, honorable members, please can we tone down?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The pronouncement by government to complete projects that are, I think, over 80%. I think that is true. That is the pronouncement of this government. And this government must follow through. Not only the 80%, I think even those that were started, I think we have said that, as progressively, we'll look at every project that was started, whether it was started by MMD or PF, they must be completed because they are for the good of Zambians. So if there is something that is not happening in Vubwi, I think you have brought it to their attention, but you also follow it up with the Minister for Infrastructure and also Ministry of Education, so that we know that there is something that is hanging somewhere. It cannot be left like that, but let it be quickly put on the program. And I don't know where they are, which I can't answer standing here, that it is for this time or for that time. It is important that we follow through with our pronouncements, and Vubwi must also be considered. It's important. Education, free education, we need a lot of infrastructure, and this must be looked at. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Nyimba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, you may agree with me that the entire Eastern Province, we are farmers, and that is the industry we believe in. 2021, 2022, a good number of our cooperatives were registered and added up to the DACO offices, so that they can receive FISIP. Your Honor, the Vice President, let me give you a practical example of Nyimba constituency. Over 30,000 farmers are registered to receive FISIP, and these clubs, they end up paying their yearly registration. And as of today, Your Honor, Nyimba has received 12,000, fertilizer equal to 12,000 farmers, meaning there is a variance of 18,000 or 19,000 somewhere about. And we are saying we need to have bumper harvest next year.
Oh, the Honorable Member, get to the question. You are depriving others an opportunity to ask by your opening remarks, which are too long. Get to the question. What's your question?
Madam Speaker, looking at, Your Honor, the Vice President, looking at the difference of the beneficiaries, do you have plan as government to make sure that you close up the gap across this country, because that's not just peculiar for Nyimba? Thank you.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Nyimba. And indeed, at the conclusion of his submission, he says this is not only Nyimba, it is everywhere. FISIP was, right from the beginning, not meant for every farmer. So the 30,000 and the 12 given, 18,000 balance, that may be the situation everywhere. Therefore, government has seen that this is a challenge, although it was not meant that every farmer should get. And in fact, even right from the inception of this FISIP, those who were here, we will remember that there was an intention of an exit clause. there was an exit clause in there, which we have failed to implement, because people that come on this program till death. But populations are growing. There are other people. We didn't work out properly how to win. So that should have been happening. So now you have the numbers growing every day. Government knowing what you have stated, Honorable Member for Nyimba, the response is we also have introduced the credit window to cater for some of these. I cannot even promise that even the credit window will cater for every farmer in the country. But we have to continuously make progress and cater for some. So go and tell your people, the people in Nyimba, that yes, these 12,000 given, rather for the 12,000 farmers, must be given only to the 12,000, please. Because sometimes that's why it's not bearing. Here, 12,000. And is it camp, what do you call them? Camp something. Those that look after camp officers, they should ensure they give to the right people. And I think they try. But the communities go down and say, what of us 18? You start sharing in buckets. That will not help us to move. Let those who don't have go to the credit window. And we continue to make progress. Otherwise, they should give only to the 12,000 farmers so that they can grow properly. And when there is weaning off time, they have something. Otherwise, everybody will scatter poverty rather than growing, because you are scattering the fertilizer to too many people and it has no impact. Let those who get, use it, grow out of it, and make other people also get on board. That is the intention of the Farmer Input Support Program.
The Honorable Member for Chikankata.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, it has been generally noted that the monthly adjustment of fuel price by Energy Regulation Board has distorted the players in the economy because they can't plan properly. Are there plans to revert to the quarterly adjustment so that you allow the planners on the market to plan adequate? I submit.
Honor the Vice President.
Thank you. Very specific. Honorable Member for Chikankata, I think this has been talked about so many times, it even becomes tedious in the House. The issue of monthly price revision or quarterly. Monthly, the minister is there. Monthly revision is provided for to answer to the source, to the international pricing. This is the purpose, so that we don't have artificial price, up or down. This is why we have reverted to we have gone to the monthly revision of the fuel price. Because at the international, pricing, it is not a stable price. And therefore, if we say quarterly, it's either when it goes down, the people of Zambia will be paying more than they need to. This is a two-way thing. We should not just sit in the negative. When it drops, then it also drops here. That was, I think, the logic in doing it monthly. If there is no need to revise, it remains as it is. So that is the purpose, please. People should understand it's not to punish anybody. It is that we should be able to respond to the actual pricing at the international level. And we will continue to see how we can stabilize the price of fuel in the country. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. 12 seconds more. The last question will be Honorable Member for Chinsali.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for the recognition that I should ask a question to Her Honor, the Vice President. You know, Madam Vice President, when you were explaining that this government will not allow anyone to die from hunger, I was wondering that will the government manage to ensure will the government deploy people to be telling them that don't die?
Ask the question, Honorable Member. Otherwise, you are already out of time. So,
thank you, Madam Speaker. Her Honor, the Vice President, you indicated that the government will ensure that the mealie meal situation is controlled. But I think there are always long-term measures and immediate measures. So my question is that what immediate interventions is the government going to put in place, or is the government putting in place to ensure that people buy mealie meal at affordable prices? Because people are barely managing to buy mealie meal, especially in Chinsadi and many other areas. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to thank the Honorable Member Chizungu Mwana. Maybe I didn't use your style, but you should understand that when I say we will not allow, that means we will not sit idle. That is what it means. We will not sit idle and hear people are dying. So I'm sure you meant to find that I used the wrong word. It is possible by your vocabulary. Long term and immediate, indeed. In the shortest, if there is such a term, short term, according to what you have said, we do understand that the price of mealie meal is unaffordable to a number of our people, but definitely not to you, Honorable Member, but maybe some members. And definitely, it should not be so much of a worry of people of Chinsali in the villages. These are the people that are enjoying this part. When we come from rural constituencies, let us also protect our constituencies. Yeah. Let us not follow the line of the Honorable Member for Kabwata. Or indeed, Mandevu, you have a mixed. Let us not follow. Let us see what is good in what is happening. Yeah. Your farmers in Chinsali are beneficiaries of this. I do. That goes for him. Who is... It's just Mandevu I can see, and that one. Because there are people are in town, they don't cultivate. So they are feeling the anger. The government, again, will not sit back. One thing that we are encouraging is that let us use maize. You know maize is cheaper than mealie meal. And this is why even your government put mills, milling what all over. Though where I went, they were idle. Don't look at me with big eyes. Big eyes are good. What I'm saying is we also scattered all over under this, the former administration of the milling, station that I don't know what they were called. That was a very good thing. But in most places, they remained unfunctional. I don't know what was wrong. And maybe, Minister, we should quickly ensure that those become functional. I don't know where you give them, but they should be functional. That was a good thing, because then people would not have to buy mealie meal. They will buy maize. If you buy a 50 kg maize, and you go to mill it at a hammer like whatever, you end up getting 48 kg of mealie meal, which is far much better than buying a bag of 25 kg mealie meal. So that is one of the things that we are encouraging, which you should help us to encourage your constituents, that let us revive this. After all, those individuals who would also buy hammer mills in this. Encourage them, even under your CDF, so that they can have those. That is a job, like I was saying, you are empowering this person. He doesn't have to go and line up at the council to be a sweeper. He is owner of this hammer mill. That is employment. So indeed, that is one of the short-term measures that government is looking at, including looking at segregating, if it were possible, who is who needs this support. The president has promised to look at that. But the long term is we must grow maize. Thank you.
Thank you very much.